Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, June 2nd. So we will have the moon in Cancer all day. The moon is in her place of power in Cancer. We have 7 different aspects taking place here today, and all of them involve the moon in Cancer. What do we know? Well, this is likely the second day, if you listen to yesterday's forecast, that we are going to have to get emotionally grounded, emotionally stable. The moon in Cancer just wants us to connect with ourselves again, to nurture ourselves back to a safe place, a stability, of surety before we go ahead and start making moves to aggress ourselves in the future. What we also got going on here today is the very last day of Mercury being retrograde. Mercury will be going direct here tomorrow. I am going to recommend, if you haven't already, to listen to the intro to June's energy forecast and to listen to Mercury going direct in Taurus. We have a little bit of a review, we do the rundown, and we prepare for Mercury to move forward. But what we know to be true is that the last day of any planet being retrograde means that there's a lot of intensity, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of pressure. Why? Because we have to learn the lesson. We have to absorb the cycle. We have to really reflect and review so that we can learn what Mercury's retrograde was built to teach us. Today is going to be an emotional and mental day of stimulation in order for us to find a brand new grounding point. Is it going to feel good? Probably not. There's probably going to be miscommunications. There's probably going to be misinterpretations. There's likely going to be a lot of friction between the heart, between the head. There's likely going to be some mishaps if you're not careful. Again, this is just the pressurized energy of a planet that has been in retrograde, now coming out of its drunken and drugged slumber and trying to kind of get the bearings of where it is that they are awakening at this particular point in the cosmos. So with that being said, the moon in Cancer is going to be semi-squaring Mercury, the ruler of the mental plane, ruler of communication and information, who, like I said, is really trying to hit home the lessons that Mercury's retrograde was meant to teach us. Now, Mercury being retrograde in Taurus energy has us reflecting back to about mid-April. We had eclipse season, we have this retrograde. Keep in mind, Pluto's still retrograde, doing the inner journey to recognize our self-destructive and self-sabotaging behaviors, where it is that we've given our power away, and where it is that we're now going to stand in our power, taking our power back, standing in authority to not make the same mistakes of the past. The moon in Cancer, semi-squaring Mercury, is going to put our heart and head at odds. Again, emotionally, we're not feeling so hot. We are not in a safe and stable place. We are not really in the mood to socialize, to be out in the world. We would rather just stick to our cozy little nest that makes us feel safe and secure. Mercury is putting a lot of pressure on our headspace. We're dizzy. Again, please listen to the ascension forecast for the week to understand the physical symptoms that come with all of these amplified energetic days. The moon and Mercury, kind of the reason at this point why misunderstandings and miscommunications could be at an all-time high. That pressurized energy of Mercury coming out of a retrograde is really kind of amplifying the blibber blabber that doesn't come out quite right. Whatever it is that we're saying doesn't come out right. We're not being received in the way that we wish we could. There's communication breakdowns of all different kinds. And to be quite honest with you, you would be lucky at this point to even be able to articulate within yourself what it is that you're thinking and feeling. The moon is going to bump into the sun in not the most pleasant of ways. Now, let me just say that this is likely going to be an external situation that pops off that we have no control over, that will illuminate to us where it is that we got to get a grip. Now, what do we got to get a grip on? Well, first of all, the moon in Cancer, very attached to the past, tends to romanticize and kind of slip into a little bit of nostalgia. And with Mercury at its final day of being retrograde, we're already in a reflective mode. Might not even be the best mental narrative for us to be in. But the sun, who is in Gemini, is trying to illuminate for us where it is that we got to open up our mind, where it is that we got to switch up the narrative, where it is that we have to adopt new ways of doing things, new ways of looking at things, new ways of understanding, new ways of communicating, where it is that we have to learn something new, where it is that we have to express ourselves in different ways. It is going to be a hard thing to do, though, because again, you would be lucky at this point if you're even able to articulate within yourself what it is that you're thinking and feeling, let alone be able to communicate that outside of yourself effectively. This particular situation that pops off that's outside of our control is likely going to put us in a cluster F of miscommunication. I'm just going to be real with you. This is what's happening. The tension of this energy is building. This is just another reason that will amplify where the old needs to be let go of, where it is that needs to stay in the past, that the moon in Cancer just has its nails dug into so freaking hard because we just like to stick to what is old, tried, tested, and true, what is familiar, even if it's uncomfortable. And at this point, the sun in Gemini is trying to illuminate the choices that we have that are very extreme, that are very polarized. You can continue to be so connected and attached to old methods, old ways of doing things, to the past memories of your life, and not evolve. And that's what we're here to do. We're in a brand new month with a brand new life lesson, with brand new aspects to support us in choosing a brand new path, a brand new idea, a brand new choice, a brand new decision. We are looking to evolve, but a lot of us are just so afraid to do that because we don't know what awaits us in the future. Many of us get stuck in a funk, holding on to old attachments and uncomfortable situations because at least it's familiar and at least it's predictable. The sun in Gemini is illuminating what it is we got to let go of in order to embrace the new aspects, the new opportunities coming our way. The moon is going to square Chiron. Let me tell you, this isn't going to feel good. Why? A square is a tension point. It is a conflict. We enter into the boxing ring with a square. What are we fighting? Our wounds, our identity wounds, our ego wounds. Why? Because Chiron is the wounded healer. He's in Aries, highlighting for us our ego identity and where it is that some of these changes, some of this loss, some of this detachment that we've been going through, especially highlighted in eclipse season, where this has created a little bit of an ouch in who it is that we now think that we are. We're going through a reinvention, a rebranding period of who it is that we are, but many of us have been too overly attached to people, places, things, labels, ideas that have been stripped away because, of course, that wasn't in our best interest, that now we don't know who it is that we are. Now, the moon in Cancer, very emotional, very intuitive, very much needing to take care of oneself, nurture oneself back to a place of safety and stability. Bumping into Chiron in this way is definitely going to rock us, show us where it is that we're not feeling so safe, that we're not feeling so secure, that we're not feeling so ready to jump into new cycles, new energy exchanges. Why? Because we don't know who it is that we are. We have to rebuild ourselves, recalibrate ourselves, reorganize, restructure. Yes, I'm going on with the words again because we're still in a retrograde. We have some reflection to do. And the moon in Cancer is very sentimental, very nostalgic, has a tendency to wear the rose-colored glasses, trying to make the past pain and trauma and suffering out to be an easier and better experience than it actually was in existence. And Chiron is here to rub salt in those wounds so that we know that they are real, that they are alive and well. And Chiron also lends us the wisdom if we were to separate ourselves from ego and truly listen to our heart space and align with our intuition, gives us the wisdom on how it is that we're going to heal these particular wounds. Now we get some help, thank goodness, with the moon in Cancer, sextiling, which is a great energy with Uranus, the great awakener who is in Taurus. Now, why is this a good aspect? Well, first of all, a sextile is the most positive aspect that we got going on for us here today. Secondly, this Uranian energy opens our minds. It shocks us. It awes us. It gives us a brand new perspective. It gives us an aha moment. What are we having an aha moment on? Well, because Uranian energy is in Taurus, focused on our physical circumstances, where our foundations are concerned, where our daily routines are concerned, the relationship with ourself, our worth, our value is concerned, the relationship with other people is concerned, our finances, our resources, our safety, our stability, our security is concerned. We are getting an aha moment on where it is that we gotta let go, that we gotta release certain aspects of the past. Again, the moon in Cancer has a tendency to look back, to have too strong of attachments with the old that we have been asked to shed time and time again. This harmonious aspect is really trying to boost our capacity to at least be open-minded enough to accept that we need to move on, that there's different ideas, there's different purposes, different missions for us, that we can't grow and evolve if we refuse to let go of the aspects of the past. We have to be open-minded. We have to be open-minded enough to see that new options and possibilities for ourselves are not only there for the taking, but that we have to embrace them when they come up, when they are offered to us. The moon in Cancer, very, very emotional, very sentimental, would like to stick to what is old, tried, tested, and true, just does not want any kind of change, doesn't want to think outside the box, doesn't want to accept that there's a new path, new relationship, new job, new method to the madness, unfolding for our highest evolvement, wants nothing to do with that. Lucky for us, this is a harmonious aspect that's going to push us outside of our comfort zone and at least accept the possibility of change a lot easier than we could have done even this time last week. The moon will bump into Venus in a very positive way, which means that we are being very realistic. Venus is saying, okay, emotions, yeah, I know you just want to romanticize the past and make it out to be better than it was, but let's get real. We're in the present moment. Half of those elements of this movie that you're playing from the past don't even exist anymore. We got to get real with what makes us happy in the moment, where it is that we need to stabilize our lives, our emotions, our wants, needs, and desires. We have to get real with what it is that we need to do within ourselves to feel safe and secure. We need to get real with our emotions, where our relationships have popped off. We have to ground ourselves out. We have to take care of ourselves in this present moment. We can't be so connected to the past that it prevents us from seeing the beauty in the here and now. Venus in Taurus, she's not really down for going too far into the future. She's all about trying to find the beauty, the pleasure, the happiness, the joy, even in the circumstances that might be highly difficult and highly uncomfortable in the here and now. This is about finding happiness and joy even in the darkest parts of your experience. And she's not typically going to tolerate her emotions to be so attached to the past that she misses out on the joy and the happiness of the here and now. The moon will be bumping into Saturn in a very positive way. If you listen to yesterday's forecast, you would know that the moon and Saturn bumped into each other in not the nicest way. This is a positive thing, which means that, Venus just kind of talked us down a little bit, bringing us into the present moment. And, the Lord of Karma is trying to test his luck here just to see how willing we are to at least try to visualize the dream, the vision, the goal for our future self. Why? Because the roles and responsibilities that we have to boss up to in order to actually manifest that reality for ourselves is coming to a time where we're going to have to take action. Is it going to be today? No. Are we able to think about it at least today? Sure. Are we able to attach to our intuition to see how we feel about certain aspects that we know we have to move away from and some aspects that we need to move closer to? Well, we're very hesitant to do so, but the moon in Cancer, now kind of more fixated in the present moment instead of being fixated in the past, is a tad bit more open to contemplate what it is that we need to kind of build for ourselves if we want to feel the safety, the security, the love, the pleasure, the joy, not only in the here and now, but in the future as well. We will be ending the day off with the moon in Cancer, sextiling, which is a very positive aspect, with the true node. Now again, yesterday we bumped into the true node and we weren't so willing to think about the future. We weren't so willing to think about the path that we need to be on in order to bring our vision and our dream to life. This time around, the moon sextiling, which is a very, very harmonious energy with the true node, we're at least willing to consider what it is that we want to do with ourselves, the energy, the effort, the attention that we need to pour into building new foundations in our daily lives, with the relationship with ourselves, in our routines, how it is that we're taking care of ourselves, our relationship dynamics, our money matters, in order to actually align with the vision, with the dream that we now have an overwhelming desire to actually pursue. We always continue to kind of look at when the moon gets in Cancer. When it first moves into Cancer, we tend to be stuck in the past. As the moon in Cancer moves through the different degrees of Cancer, we get that midway. Suddenly, we're in this present moment. And once we get halfway through those degrees and we move towards the ending degrees of the moon being in Cancer, we have a tendency to want to look forward, want to look in the future a little bit more than what we were willing to do when the moon first initiates this Cancer energy. So we very much find ourselves willing to contemplate what it is that we want to build and create and bring to life in a futuristic vision and a dream, because we're moving through the degrees of Cancer. We are nurturing ourselves back to a place of safety and security. And when we do that and we find that we're feeling a little bit better, that we're not feeling as shaky and unstable and uncertain about ourselves and about our physical circumstances, we're more apt to let a lot of dreams and visions take us on a little bit of a journey so that we can emotionally and intuitively align with what feels good, what feels right, and what it is that we actually want to bring to life. We are doing so because tomorrow, on the day that Mercury goes direct, on the last day that Saturn will be direct, we will have the moon moving out of her place of power from Cancer and moving into Leo. So there is this wrapping up. There is this energy where we're not as afraid to look forward as we once were just a couple of days ago. And emotionally speaking, we're starting to come full circle. We're starting to feel more complete, more rested, more rejuvenated, more ready to take an action to move forward, which we will definitely start seeing as Mercury goes direct.